Today we are going to hear about the unusual activities of a young man from Vietnam who has not only become famous in Vietnam, but has also gone viral across the entire internet in recent days because of his strange actions. One day, this man suddenly decided that he would leave behind everything related to modern civilization. No city, no electricity, nothing at all. No market, nothing would exist in his life. In front of him, there would be only nature, a huge raft, and the skill of his own two hands. His only goal was to build a completely self-sufficient floating island in the middle of the water using his own hands. Although it may sound unbelievable, this dream led him to the dense rainforests of Vietnam, toward a hidden, secluded lake deep inside the forest. Dense jungle all around, an eerie silence, and an unknown danger in the air. Here, the toughest test of his life is about to begin. But one thing becomes very clear here. This man was not just building a house. He was in fact shaping his own future with his own hands. At first, his task was to build a floating foundation. While searching around, he discovered that the most suitable material for this purpose was bamboo, strong, lightweight, and naturally buoyant in water. So he began cutting bamboo one after another and tying them together to form a large raft. But what about ropes? Here too, he found a solution in nature itself. From the strong fibers of bamboo, he stripped the fibers and crafted strong ropes from them. Using those ropes, he tightly bound the bamboo together, and slowly his floating base began to take shape. Next, he started building a wooden structure on top of the raft, but he had no iron nails, so he turned to an ancient construction technique instead. He drilled small holes into the wood. Then he inserted a wooden peg into each hole, creating a strong joint. Incredible as it may sound, his wooden frame stood firmly without a single iron nail. After that, the work of building the roof began. He split bamboo into thin, tile-like pieces and layered them one over another. They were arranged in such a way that rainwater could easily slide off and flow down. Within a few days, a small but sturdy house rose floating under the open sky. But this shelter alone was not enough to survive. He needed food. At first, he caught shellfish and small fish with his bare hands from the water. The place where he had initially started working was very rocky and steep. It became very difficult. So he moved to another place with his dog, where there was a flat, sandy shore. There, he began creating a garden right on top of the raft. He brought fertile black soil and decayed leaves from the jungle and made small planting beds. In those, he planted chilies, vegetables, and
a banana tree. Dhire dhire, a small green world began to grow on top of the floating home. But he didn't stop there. In the middle of the raft, he created a small pond where he could raise fish. To catch fish, he built a special trap. One day, a large catfish got caught.
On the other hand, it wasn't possible to stay in one place on the raft all the time. So he built a small pedal-powered boat. This foot-driven boat gave him the ability to move quickly. Now he could easily travel to different areas of the raft and gather more wood and bamboo. Then an even bigger plan began to take shape in his mind. Meanwhile, it wasn't possible to stay in one spot on the raft all the time, so he built a small pedal-powered boat. This foot-operated boat gave him the ability to move quickly. Now he could easily travel to different parts of the raft and collect more wood and bamboo. After that, an even bigger plan came to his mind. Rice farming on water. Using bamboo, he built a large structure. With banana leaves, he created layers to hold the water. Then he mixed soil, decayed leaves, and wood ash to form fertile land. There, he sowed rice seeds. Over time, his floating worlds continued to grow bigger. One day, while walking through he brings the chickens onto the raft and builds a small shelter for them. Now, hundreds of bees begin to fill his garden. In return, he gains another precious food, honey. Finally, the time for harvest arrives. He cuts the rice he planted with his own hands, dries it, and threshes it to produce grain. After so long, the moment he eats rice grown by himself becomes one of the happiest moments of his life. Slowly, his floating island begins to transform into a small village. There are fish farms, vegetable gardens, rice fields, a chicken coop, and beehives. Just a year ago, he arrived here completely alone. But today, standing before him is a dream he built with his own hands. This place is not just a floating house. It is the result of his patience, hard work, and intelligence. In the end, he realizes a powerful truth. No one can conquer the world alone, but by living in harmony with nature, a truly independent life can be created. And that small floating island under the sun stands as proof that if a person truly wants, he can build a new world with his own two hands.